All right, guys, the Way I See It podcast, continuing our playoff bowl games breakdown. Now we're on to Alabama. Getting ready to break down Alabama for the Sugar Bowl matchup. We decided we'd pick Texas A&M because out of all the teams that Alabama has played, what Texas A&M does offensively is probably the most similar to what Clemson does. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. Texas A&M, they're coming out in three wide look with a wing to the twin side. A lot of people call that an H-back. Alabama is in what would be called a nickel defense. And now when they're in a nickel, they could have 3 down linemen or 4 down linemen, but basically you're going to see 6 in the box when they're in their nickel set, which is what we see right here. Now this is kind of as far as spread goes, this is kind of a run formation, although you can obviously pass out of it. All right, let's see what happens right here. All right, we got a shift. Oh, that was a nice play right there. They shifted the back and the wing, and what they did was they wanted to get the back to the side of the twins because they got an extra blocker out there to throw the swing pass. So what they're doing is trying to match that the back up against that inside linebacker and see if he can beat him wide. All right, so we got trips to the right. We're shifting to a double twins with stacked wide receivers. Now, a lot of times you see them this wide, it's to run the ball. That's exactly what you see right there. And the reason they stack them so wide is just to take that outside linebacker further from the box, and then you just run the inside zone. It's not rocket science right there. They're just trying to get the defense spread out as much as possible. But when you see those super wide alignments, especially with twins, stacked twins, you can expect something like that. Woo! Man, that right there is what makes Alabama who they are. Because that son of a gun right there just brought this natural wood off that edge right there. And he was not concerned at all about the jet sweep. That's something to keep in mind as we go through this game to see if Texas A&M tries to exploit that at all. So double twins. That right there was that play is actually called 63 in Texas A&M's offense. It's 5-yard outs by the ends, the slot receivers, and the outside guys will have goes and they'll release away. Really good coverage by Alabama.
Good pressure. He didn't have much time.
And that's a 60 drop, which means you're only supposed to fire your feet and throw it. So, I mean, that's Alabama. They got a lot of things going for them. Of course, Nick Saban is a great coach, and Pruitt is one of the better defensive coordinators in the country, and they run a great program. But the main reason Alabama is so good is because their players are better than everybody else. They had the best recruiting classes every year. They're really big. They're really fast. Now look, you could not be as good as they have been without having a coach like Coach Saban that keeps everything going in the right direction.
Which is hard to do when you get those kind of egos and that kind of talent.
That's true, but
it's easier to. It sure makes winning easier.
It makes winning a lot easier when you got the better players each week.
Absolutely.
And look, it's a real tribute to what.
Well, that's the goal.
To what University of Alabama, the culture that they've created down there is the best players in the country want to play for Alabama every year.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, so we got to, even though that wasn't that long of a drive, we kind of got to see some things that Texas A&M likes to do offensively, and we kind of get to see the way that Alabama is going to react to it.
We'll get a lot of good looks from the Clemson, Texas A&M. We'll see what Bama's going to
Right now, one thing to consider is it appears to me just early, very very early, that Alabama feels like they can stop Texas A&M's run with 6 guys. I don't know that they'll have the same. They're probably going to hope they can stop Clemson's run with 6 guys. But if they can't, that's where the gamesmanship's going to come out a little bit. Kind of get to see the reactions. All right, been looking forward to this. I've watched Alabama a lot, but I've never really broken them down. All right, so they're coming out with 2 backs and a tight end. They're going to motion 1 back out, trying to get an idea of what the coverage is. So see, that's why you see the check now. They could have started with that back in the slot, but they want to motion him to get an idea of the coverage. Good gracious. Man, that is amazing. That guy looks like he weighs 230 pounds. He just went 70 yards. Looked like to me on just an inside zone.
It looked like.
Saw the cutback, and man, that was impressive.
Well, did they have man coverage?
It was man. It was man. So by them sending that back out, they just took another guy out of the box, which is essentially blocking him. Because he can't now somebody that could have made the tackle can't make the tackle. So you check to a run, and they were probably going to run inside zone either way. But if they'd have got a certain look, they might would have done something different. But good Lord, impressive.
Yes, that is impressive.
Man, that was amazing. All right, here we go. This will be a good look. So the tight end's on the right side. So this would they would call this formation Kings. Kings right. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that's just zone. That's just inside zone. When we say inside zone, which means there must be an outside zone. Inside zone is a downhill running play. Different offenses has the back read different guys. Sometimes it's the shade. Sometimes it's one of the inside linebackers. But they're gonna push a hole and look for a cutback. And he saw that cutback, and he was gone.
Did they catch A&M in a slant right there?
I really wasn't looking at A&M's D line.
Oh,
good God.
Well, this is not the way A&M want to start this game.
No, sir. And this is what happens now when you jump on a Brahma Bull. Sometimes it don't work out for you.
Yeah, sometimes you get thrown early.
Yeah, usually it doesn't work out for you. But good gracious. It's been very impressive so far. And Texas A&M's got good players.
Yeah.
It's not like they are, just totally outmatched.
Since Sumlin's been at A&M, I've been impressed with almost every recruit class he's brought in there. I thought he recruited better than what they should. Where they ended, they always seem to recruit better than what they should have.
Right.
He had a stretch here. He was bringing in, it seemed like, every 4 or 5 star receiver he won.
And one of the advantages that Alabama's got that very few people talk about, and because they are so deep with 5-star players, they basically are too deep with 5-star players defensively, which is insane.
Yeah.
And they got as many 5-star players as the rest of the SEC combined on their roster.
Is that?
That's true. Now, so you got all these blue chip guys that they're only getting on the field on special teams. And when they get out there, they want to kill somebody. Huge advantage.
Yeah, when they get out there, they still want to show there's a 5-star.
That's right. All right, so we're 3 wide with a wing. That's inside zone. And you saw a great job out of Alabama squeezing. When great defenses do a few things, all great defenses tackle well, all great defenses set the edge, and all great defenses squeeze. What I mean by squeeze is they do not allow gaps along the front. Okay? That's what Alabama did right there. There's 100 teams in college football where that would have been a game because of the blocking, but the defensive end squeezed it like crazy. All right? Texas A&M got no time to do any kind of fancy stuff out there. They were going to try to fake a little run to the right, sneak the opposite back out into the flats on the left. There's no time.
And that's not a long play. Don't take that play long to develop.
But they couldn't. A&M was struggling getting quick passes off early. I'm going. And I have not watched this game before. This is the first time I'm seeing it. I'm wondering if they're going to do. You're going to see A&M doing some rollout stuff to try to create a little bit of time. All right, that was just basically like a little base run. They're just at this point on this drive, they're trying to just get the ball punted out of there. Not concerned at all about really getting the first down right there. They're just trying to get the ball out of the end zone. That was not even a zone run right there because they blocked both tackles, just kind of base blocked them, got to try to turn them out. Just trying to get a little bit of room so they could punt the ball. All right, maybe this time we get to see Alabama do a little bit offensively, more than just hand it off.
Oh, score touchdown.
Yeah, and I'm one player that I'm anxious to. I'm really looking forward to breaking down Jalen Hurts. I also want to see Calvin Ridley because, in my opinion, he's the most dynamic receiver in the country.
I think so too.
It really, to me, seems like he's been underutilized the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because it feels like he's always open.
I hadn't seen anybody else off the cover. I know that.
No, and when he gets the ball in his hands, he's
so
electric.
shifty. Yeah, so shifty.
All right, so this is Alabama's tight in there. All right, that's part of what makes Jalen Hurts really special right there. Try a little play action, going to get the ball down the field, deep routes, and put his back to the defense. He turns around and they're all over him, and he's able to bounce around and turn a potential 10-yard loss into about a 2 or 3 yard gain. All right, let's see what Alabama's coming out in. 2nd and 8. All right. All right, that's what they're doing right there is they're faking. They were faking power. So power, they're going to take that wing back, and he's going to come. He's going to kick out the defensive end. And so what they did is they flashed him through, and instead of him kicking out the D end, he run right past him. Hurts puts the ball, in the tailback's gut. So it's looking like power, and then pulls it and hits that wing back flashing in the flats. Picking up a couple yards, but that's a staple of Alabama's offense because they're so good at running the power play. Mm-hmm. All right, we got a bunch formation, trips on the left, bringing motion across. All right, let's see what's going on. They fake jet right there. What they're trying to do is fake jet to the right and then run a wheel route back to the left, catch them in man coverage, and A&M did a good job in coverage right there. It was a really good play, good design. See, there goes the back on the wheel route out of the backfield. And it looks like Hurts had him if he took his eyes off of him right there at the end of the play.
Yeah.
Now, he had to keep it alive longer than I think the back was expecting the play to be over with. All right. So, seen Alabama a couple drives and A&M a couple drives, and it's obvious at this point that Alabama is much more physical up front on both sides of the ball. And when that's the case, it's hard to lose. When you're the most physical team, especially with Alabama is also one of the most disciplined teams in the country. Mm-hmm. And that's any old school football coach will tell you. If you're the most physical team, you're the most disciplined team, you're going to win. Now you throw into that they're also the most athletic team, and it gets real tough for them to lose.
It's hard.
It's hard to beat Alabama.
It is. If they don't make mistakes, they don't commit turnovers. They're hard to beat.
All right. So we got the wing back again. To see Alabama that time. Now they shifted, brought an extra guy to the box, and A&M responded by getting the guy in the flats. But they were originally lined up, and what I was talking about earlier, they had the 3 down linemen with the 3 backers, so it was still 6 guys in the box. It was what would be called a stack look. Then when the wing shifted to the field, which means the wide side, then they rotated more to a 4-2 and then walked the safety up. So here they're doing it again. So what they're wanting to do is now give Texas A&M a little bit something different to look at. They're bringing more pressure, bringing an extra guy in the box on this series. They did it on first down. They did it on second. So the first couple series they were living with 6 guys in the box. This series they've been shifting down to 7. Now it's 3rd and 3.5, 4.
Yeah.
So you would think A&M's going to pass the ball. So I'd expect them to be back with the 6 guys in the box right here. But you never know. So they're even more spread right here defensively, but they're facing an empty look. Man, Alabama's really good defensively. I know Texas A&M picked up the first down, but they covered for 5 seconds, and then when that quarterback decided to run, they were all over it. Just really, really sound defensively. And they're just put together like a great NFL defense to be put together.
Yeah.
They got an NFL player at every spot. All right, Texas A&M has got trips to the field. Now down at the bottom, Alabama is in press coverage. They're taking their boundary corner at the bottom. That boundary means the short side of the field, and they're putting him in man-to-man. And then they're playing zone away, which is a Nick Saban kind of specialty, something that he's always liked to do with his defensive backs. Alabama basically really made the matchup zone what college teams really like to do now.
Oh, the well-designed play.
It was a well-designed play, and the quarterback for A&M missed it. They caught Alabama in man right then, and then they run a rub route and snuck the back out of the backfield and got him open, but the quarterback missed it.
It happens when you've got
right. So see, 3's open, wide open.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a whole lot of time out there either,
Yeah. I mean, he was 6 inches from getting his ankles snatched out from him.
That's true. All right, so we're going trips again. It looks like Alabama. At this point, they're showing a man defense. They're running man, and they're locking them down.
Yes, they are.
They're locking Texas A&M down. But they were in a man-free defense, but they're starting off with we've been breaking these teams down now for the last week. And what I'm seeing out of Alabama that's different from the other teams that I've watched is Alabama disguises their coverages a lot better than Georgia, Oklahoma, or Clemson. Because they are constantly starting with 2 safeties deep and on the snap rolling 1 safety down or covering a guy, and it's not easy for me sitting up here to figure it out, and I don't have a bunch of 300-pound animals trying to kill me.
Right.
All right, so this time A&M got trips to the boundary. All right, what A&M was trying to do right then. Yeah, the quarterback's athletic as heck. He was trying. They were going to fake a screen to the boundary and then try to get the back out on a slip screen to the field. And Alabama was just all over. And the quarterback did a good job and got loose, but then he fumbled. All right, see, they're faking the screen to the right.
Yeah.
And they were going to throw the slip back to the left, but just didn't have time to do it. Alabama, a 300-pounder at Alabama doesn't look like a 300-pounder anywhere else. I mean, he's built. They're built like linebackers. They're just 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And 6'5". It's
They
amazing.
look like an NFL. I mean, if you put them in an NFL, the Browns or the Giants jerseys on them, you can't tell the difference. These guys are huge.
I think that. I mean, the Browns are terrible. I always say there's no way a college team, but maybe they can actually beat the Browns. I don't know. All right. I didn't really get a chance to see what they were doing out there. What I did see is that Alabama's turned that man loose, number 9. I mean, that is a grown man right there. And it looked to me like
they're averaging 40 yards a carry.
It looked like that was just base block. When I say base, it was not like a zone. It's kind of like man blocking. Everybody's got a man, which is really basic. Which if you whip your man, you got to lead, All right. He's pissed. I think he's got to be pissed so Saban don't cuss him out.
Yeah.
I kind of think that's what's going on.
He better look like he's
It's better for him to cuss somebody else out than him to get cussed out. All right, so let's see what we got going on. All right, so Alabama right now, they're trying to get the edge to the left. All right, so there's no man. That's why they brought him back. Wow, good defense by Texas A&M. What I mean by that is a lot of teams call that motion mob motion. So they motion that wing back, and then nobody goes with him. So then he just goes back. Now, if Texas A&M had sent somebody with him and you knew they were in man, then they'd have been getting the guy out of the area they wanted to run the ball, and he'd have kept going. All right, that screen right there, in the offense that I run for years, I actually call it Alabama because it's something that they do. It's hard to do. I tell you who else does it really well is Drew Brees with the Saints. There's 2 screens going on. There's a screen to the right and a screen to the left, and you're going to read. Usually it's like, all right, so there's going to be a screen with the back to the right. Okay, so he's going to read. He's supposed to be reading. He's going to read either the outside linebacker or the safety to that side, and if it's there, he'll throw that screen. If it's not, he'll turn and throw the jailbreak screen back to the left.
Did the blitz just throw the play off?
Yeah, I think that what happened was because the blitz got back there so quick, Scarborough had not got his head around.
Yeah. So
since he didn't get his head around, instead of Hurts throwing it to him, he just threw it away.
Yeah.
But Scarborough was where the ball should have went. But it didn't look like Scarborough got his head around in time. Look, the way a lot of teams answer this type of those type of plays is just bring pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is when you handle it right and get the ball out, pressure is the worst thing you can do.
I was about to say, well, we've seen what happens when you bring pressure on Mayfield. Oh, players like all 4 of these teams have, you bring pressure and you miss a tackle and it can be a touchdown.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting. What I think that the 2 best defenses of the 4 is Alabama and Clemson. Although I believe Georgia's really good defense. I think that's probably the 3 best defenses in the country.
I do too. I think they're the 3 best defenses. And there is not much difference in any of them.
Alabama is so physical.
Man, they're huge.
Huge and athletic and just got a
on the hoof, they look the best to me.
No, I agree. I think that Clemson may have a better starting defensive line.
I think so.
I think Alabama is maybe a notch below, but with their backups, they probably got the better overall group. And see right there, Alabama is playing with 3 down linemen and 2 linebackers and just dominating Texas A&M. And the thing about Clemson is Clemson doesn't really make their money throwing the ball.
Mm-mm.
They're going to be trying to run the ball against this defense.
They've had 2 years in a row where they've had a lot of success against this defense.
They have,
But they had Deshaun Watson.
That's right. They had, Deshaun Watson, quarterback.
And several really good receivers.
All right, that's another good example of what I'm talking about with Alabama. They start out, they've got 5 guys in the box. It's 3rd and long. You're thinking, yeah, that makes sense. You're going to put a lot of people in pass coverage. Well, at the last second, one of their safeties rolled down. So those 5 that are in the box, they all go. The guy that rolls down doesn't go. He's just sitting in the middle of the field in case the quarterback escapes. They're trying to cover their bases.
Mm.
So what they're going to do in that situation is they're going to have 5 guys, behind, trying to keep everything in front of them deep. They're going to rush 5, and they're going to have somebody there for the quarterback to keep him from making a big run. And how many times do you see the quarterback get loose, which is what makes
Kelly's
first down.
Kelly's really dangerous.
Really dangerous. All right, guys, we're going to watch this drive right here, and then that'll end part 1 of our Alabama pre-Sugar Bowl breakdown. So far, kind of Alabama as advertised, super physical. Just seems to be playing on a little bit different level. All right. So Alabama's coming out. It looks like, trips. This would be called trio right. So trips away from a tight end. Now, Scarborough trying to bounce that a little bit more than he should have. Come out with a trio right, which it's a good formation, and it's something that we're seeing over and over and over again as we're breaking down all these teams.
Absolutely.
Seeing a lot of teams. I didn't realize that there was as many teams running that formation, which, like I said, trio means you got trips away from the tight end.
We've seen it constantly.
Out of Oklahoma, out of Clemson, and out of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this would be called Kings right. It's a tight end away from twins. Tight end's got a wide out on the same side. All right, Texas A&M's in a man-free coverage. And Alabama runs a man beater and kills it. Man free means there's one deep safety, and everybody else is in man coverage. And so anytime you have that out by your slot, it's going to be open. And Herb just easily made a good throw. And see the difference there in what A&M did and when Alabama's been doing it is A&M. It was easy for me to recognize it because A&M doing it earlier. Alabama's doing it at the snap.
Mm.
All right. So see right there, Texas A&M's in a corner blitz, and you could see how wide that safety was to the side the corner was blitzing from. Like I'm saying, they're tipping off what they're doing ahead of time, and it just makes the game a lot easier when you're prepared for it. All right, we're gonna watch one more play, and then we're gonna tap out for this part 1. See, and Kings again. And that was a really simple route. They had a Gus like that same 63 type look. I think they were trying to get the ball to Ridley, but we're going to stop it right here, guys.